Hi again, YouTube. Today I'm going to finish up my series on essay writing by talking about conclusions. When I was a teacher, many students would tell me that they found writing conclusions really difficult. They weren't sure what to say or how to phrase it, and they just felt like they were repeating themselves. And in a sense, they weren't wrong. A conclusion shouldn't really break new ground. But there are some things that it should do, and I'd like to talk about them today. Just like with all the other parts of an essay, there are of course several ways to write a conclusion. But generally, your conclusion should re-emphasize your thesis statement. You probably shouldn't just copy-paste your thesis statement from the first paragraph, but you can reword it here. If you get stuck for an opening line for your conclusion, one easy way is to start with something like, "It is clear that," or "as the above examples have shown," and then restate the main argument that's been holding your essay together this whole time. What you should probably avoid, though, is starting your conclusion with "in conclusion." Your reader knows that this paragraph is your conclusion because, well, there's not another paragraph after it. Also, remember to try and avoid the first person. Avoid saying something like, "as I have shown." Let your essay and your evidence speak for themselves. Once you have the first sentence of the conclusion down, there are two general ways that you can proceed. The first is to review all the evidence that you have provided in the body paragraphs and neatly sum up how everything ties together. There's this old adage about essay writing: tell the reader what you're going to tell them, and then tell the reader what you just told them. And if you ascribe to that, then this is the part where you tell your reader what you've just told them. And that's a perfectly valid way of writing your conclusion, just spending a few sentences and summarizing all your main points one more time, and relating each of them back to your thesis statement that you opened the paragraph with. The other way that you might proceed is by issuing what is called a call to action. This can be especially important in a persuasive paper, where you might want the reader to take some action by the end, calling their congressperson or donating to a cause or changing some behavior in their own lives. In this case, you want to try and emphasize how what you have just shown the reader should affect them and what they should do about it. Now, there's nothing that says you can't do a bit of both in your essays. In fact, many of the strongest conclusions I read from students did do that. Because even if all you're doing is restating your evidence, you still want your reader to be persuaded to take your side and see things your way. And even if you're trying to persuade a reader, it may still be helpful to restate some of the evidence that should cause them to be persuaded. In general, the conclusion doesn't need to be terribly long. If you're writing the traditional 5-paragraph essay, your conclusion will likely be your shortest paragraph. And once you've restated your points or issued your call to action, you only need to find the last sentence of your essay. For me personally, this is often the hardest part of the conclusion, sometimes of the entire essay. What I generally try to do is to find some way of relating what the essay has discussed to the wider world, as a way of trying to connect the arguments within the essay to the broader experience of the reader's life. And one way of doing this is by what I think of as the thesis twist. That is, taking your thesis and turning it into a lesson or a moral that your reader should take from the essay. To return to the thesis from an earlier video on thesis statements, we might turn the thesis from that video, which was Odysseus in the Odyssey shows his qualities as a hero through his loyalty and bravery in the face of danger, into something like Odysseus' journey shows us a hero, flawed but trying, providing an example of bravery and loyalty that even thousands of years later can be an inspiration. Something like that anyway. In conclusion, see what I did there? Essay writing should help you understand your subject better, and I encourage you to see it not as something you are forced to do, but as an opportunity to engage more deeply with something. If you don't like the subject you're writing about, that's okay. In that case, I encourage you to find something you do like, and relate this essay to that. If that's not possible for whatever reason, then make a really compelling argument for why the thing you're forced to write about is bad or terrible. Not because you don't like it, but because it's somehow wrong or cliché. Be creative with it. Writing an essay is about learning how to present arguments and organize thoughts in a way that goes beyond just the material you're writing about and can help you in every interaction you have with other people. See what I did there? As always, I hope you enjoyed the video. Feel free to leave questions or comments below, and thanks for watching.